For this crochet project, you're going to need your 3.75 millimeter crochet hook, as well as a tapestry needle and a pair of scissors. Now, if you're making the banana, I used my leftover beige or Magnolia Way colored yarn. And for the yellow, I chose Red Heart with Love Premium. And the color was Daffodil, some of my leftover daffodil colored yarn. And I also used Red Heart Super Saver, some of my leftover Pretty in Pink for the cheeks for the banana. And for the eyes, I used a 10 millimeter safety doll eye. And I like the ones with the plastic backing, safety backing, or metal. And for this one, I have a really pretty blue for the eyes for the banana. But you can choose any 10 millimeter size safety doll eye that you want. So for the banana, you're going to start with the beige colored yarn, and we're going to start with the magic circle, just like we've done before. And you're going to start with the slip knot, and then you're going to place 6 single crochet into the magic circle. Then you're just going to hold the base of the 6 single crochet, and then you're just going to close up the magic circle. Then just turn your work. And now you're going to work in rounds. So now you're just going to make 2 single crochet into every stitch around until you have a total of 12 stitches in the round. So 2 single crochet in every stitch around. Then you can take and turn your work over. If you need to close the center, just pull on that loose yarn end on the back. Then we're going to make an increase round. So go ahead and take and place your yarn marker right where you left off, and you're going to make 1 single crochet into 1 stitch, and then 2 single crochet into the next stitch. And you're going to repeat that pattern all the way around back to the yarn marker. 1 single crochet in 1 stitch, 2 single crochet into the next stitch. Then you should have 18 total stitches in the round. Go ahead and move the yarn marker up, and you're going to make 1 single crochet in every stitch for 2 rounds. So 2 rounds of 1 single crochet in every stitch around. So after you finish your 2 rounds of 1 single crochet in every stitch, go ahead and move your yarn marker up for another increase round. And for this increase round, you're going to make 1 single crochet into 2 stitches, and then 2 single crochet into the next stitch. And then repeat that pattern all the way around back to the yarn marker. 1 single crochet into 2 stitches, and then 2 single crochet into the next stitch, repeating that pattern all the way around. So now you should have 24 total stitches in the round. Then move your yarn marker up, and then you're going to make 1 single crochet in every stitch around for 6 rounds. So 6 rounds of 1 single crochet in every stitch around. So now, after you finish your 6 rounds of 1 single crochet in every stitch, you can leave a little bit of a yarn loop. This will be in the back of the banana, the top of the banana. So we're going to make the face on the front. So keep the loop in towards the back while we make the face on the front of the banana. So now you can place your safety doll eyes, and I use the magic circle on top as a landmark, and then you're just going to count down 1, 2, 3, 4. So on the 5th round is where you place your safety doll eye. The top of the safety doll eye will be just under the 4th round. And I have 2 stitches between my safety doll eyes. Once you're happy with the placement of your safety doll eyes, Then you can take and place the safety latch right on the back. Make sure it clicks in place. And make sure that before you place them that you're happy with the placement of the eyes, because the safety latch works very well. And then just turn it back inside out, and then we're ready to make the little smile and the cheeks. So to make the cheeks, you're going to start with the magic circle, and you're going to bring up a slip knot, loop for the slip knot. Just yarn over and then go through the loop for a slip knot. And I'm using my pink colored yarn, and I'm just going to place 3 single crochet into the magic circle. So only 3. And then you can close the magic circle just like you've done before. Then you're going to turn your work so that you slip stitch into the first stitch. So just turn it into a circle, go into that first stitch that you made into the magic circle, and then you're going to make a slip stitch. So just yarn over and then just pull the yarn through both loops on the hook for a slip stitch. Then you can go ahead and finish off. Just yarn over and just pull enough yarn through to sew the little cheek in place. And then cinch down the knot, and then you can pull on the loose yarn end on the back to close the center. And then you're just going to need 2 of the cheeks. Then just take your tapestry needle, and then you're just going to place the cheek where you want it. And my cheek is going to go at a 45-degree angle from the eye, and I'm going to place it just under, actually I'm going to go up a little bit higher, so just so that the top of the cheek is in line with the bottom of the safety doll eye. Then you can take and sew it in place. So I'm just going to sew around the edge, the outer edge of the cheek, all around the edge of the cheek, the circle. And then once it's sewn in place, I'm going to tie a knot on the wrong side. And then after I tie my knot, I like to trim the loose yarn ends. Then once you have the cheeks in place, you can get your tapestry needle with your black colored yarn, and we're going to make this smile. So for the smile, you're just going to come up from the wrong side, about here's the bottom of the cheek, so you're going to come up with the same round as the bottom of the cheek, about a stitch over, and then come up with your black colored yarn. And then you're going to go down 1 round and a stitch over. And then go back through. Then you're going to go over and you want to make sure that you're lined up with the other, about a stitch over from the other cheek so that the smile is even. So I'm going about a stitch over for the center of the smile, and then going back in. And you can leave a crooked smile if you want, but I'm going to go ahead and finish the other side. So I'm going to go about a stitch over and a round up for the other side of the smile, and then just go back down in. And then you just tie a knot on the inside. So now that the face is finished, we can go ahead and return to where we left off. You can go ahead and move the yarn marker up, and then you're going to make 5 rounds of 1 single crochet in every stitch around. So 5 rounds of 1 single crochet in every stitch. So now I finished my 5th round of 1 single crochet in every stitch, and I'm at the back of the banana. So the face is on the front, I'm in the back. I'm going to change colors. So now I'm going to slip stitch into the next stitch over, so just yarn over and then pull the yarn through both loops on the hook for a slip stitch. Then you're going to bring in your yellow colored yarn, bring up a loop, and then you're just going to tie a knot. And then you can cut the previous colored yarn. Then we're going to continue crocheting with the yellow colored yarn. You can remove your yarn marker and then just make 1 single crochet in every stitch until you've completed 14 rounds. So 14 rounds of 1 single crochet in every stitch. And you can start adding craft stuffing at this point too. So now I have 14 rounds of 1 single crochet in every stitch, and this is what my banana looks like. And now we're going to make a decrease round. So you're going to take and place your yarn marker right where you left off, and for the first decrease round you're going to make 1 single crochet into 2 stitches, and then you're going to single crochet 2 stitches together. So 1 single crochet into 2 stitches and then single crochet 2 stitches together. Repeat that pattern all the way around back to the yarn marker. So now you should have 18 total stitches in the round. Go ahead and move your yarn marker up and leave it right where you left off, and then you're just going to make 1 single crochet in every stitch around for 2 rounds. So 2 rounds of 1 single crochet in every stitch around. Then after you finish your 2 rounds of 1 single crochet in every stitch, go ahead and move your yarn marker up, and then your next decrease round you're going to make 1 single crochet into 1 stitch and then single crochet 2 stitches together, and repeat that pattern all the way around back to the yarn marker. So 1 single crochet in 1 stitch and then single crochet 2 stitches together, repeating that pattern all the way around back to the yarn marker. Then just make sure that you have the amount of stuffing that you want before we completely close. Then you're just going to make single crochet 2 stitches together until you're almost closed, and then we're just going to slip stitch it closed. So I'm going to make 1 more single crochet 2 stitches together. Then I'm going to skip a stitch, go into the next stitch, yarn over, turn the hook upside down, and bring the yarn through both loops for a slip stitch. And you're just going to slip stitch all the way around until the opening is closed. So I'm almost closed. And then once it's closed, go ahead and finish off. Just yarn over and just pull enough yarn through to bury into your work. Then you can take your tapestry needle, put the loose yarn end onto the tapestry needle, and then just go in right where you finished off and come out anywhere. And then that buries your loose yarn end nicely. Then we're going to make the banana peels. So now I'm going to show you how to make the banana peel. So you're going to need 3 of them. I've already made 2. So you're going to go ahead and get your yellow colored yarn, and then you're going to fold it over on itself to form a loop. Take your crochet hook, go right through the loop, hold the base of the loop with your middle finger and your thumb. Then just yarn over, turn the hook upside down, and go through the loop for a slip knot. Go ahead and cinch that knot down, and then cinch the loop around your crochet hook. Then we're going to make a chain. So we're going to make a chain of 9. So just yarn over, turn the hook upside down, go through the loop for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So you have a chain of 9. Then you're going to go into the second chain from the hook. So count back 1, 2, go into the second chain from the hook, bring up a loop, make a single crochet, and then you're just going to make 1 single crochet in every stitch back across. And when you're finished, you should have a stitch count of 8. So the starting chain was a chain of 9, but because we went into the second chain from the hook and made 1 single crochet in every stitch back across, your stitch count should be 8. So I'm almost back. I have 2 more stitches, and then I'll have a stitch count of 8. And then I finished the first row. So we just finished the first row, and we're going to need a total of 10 rows with a stitch count of 8. So I'm going to show you how to move up to the next row. So to move up to the next row, you need to make a chain of 1. So just yarn over, turn the hook upside down, and go through the loop for a chain of 1. Turn your work, and then that chain 1 counts as your first stitch for the row. And you can see that it's over. Right below it is the base of the chain 1. That's your first stitch. You're going to go into the next stitch over and bring up a loop and make a single crochet for your second stitch. And then you're going to make 1 single crochet in every stitch back across. And then you should still have a stitch count of 8. So there's 6, 7, and 8. So now you just finished your second row. So you're going to keep repeating that until you have a total of 10 rows with a stitch count of 8. So chain 1 to move up to the next row, turn your work, and then make a single crochet into the next stitch over. So go ahead, finish repeating this, chain 1 with a 1 single crochet into the next stitch and 1 single crochet in every stitch across until you have a total of 10 rows. So now you should have 10 rows of 1 single crochet in every stitch. Then you're not going to chain 1, and you're just going to turn your work and then make a single crochet into the next stitch over, and then that will count as your first stitch for this row. So there's 1 single crochet into the next stitch for 2, next stitch for 3, next stitch for 4, next stitch for 5, next stitch for 6, and then in the last stitch you have 7 stitches total for this row. Then you're going to turn your work, make a single crochet into the next stitch for your first, next stitch for your second single crochet, next stitch for your third, next stitch for your fourth, next for your fifth, and then next for your sixth. So 6 stitches for that row. Turn your work, make a single crochet into the next stitch for 1 single crochet, next stitch for 2, next stitch for 3, next for 4, and the last stitch for 5. So you have 5 stitches total for that row. Then you're going to turn your work, go into the next stitch over for 1 single crochet, next stitch for 2, next for 3, and the last stitch will be 4. Then you're going to turn your work, make a single crochet into the next stitch for 1 single crochet, next stitch for 2, and then the last stitch for 3. Then you're going to turn your work, make a single crochet into the next stitch for 1 single crochet, next stitch for 2. Then you're just going to turn your work and slip stitch into the next stitch. So go into the next stitch, yarn over, turn the hook upside down, and bring the yarn through both loops for a slip stitch. Then you can go ahead and finish off, just yarn over and just bring enough yarn through to bury into your work. So now you're just going to take your tapestry needle, place it right onto the loose yarn end, and then you're just going to kind of weave it through the work, so kind of bury it into your work. So I'm going to go a couple of times. So I'm going to go back one more time just to kind of make sure it doesn't come loose. Then you can take and trim it. Now you need 3 of these, and then come back. So now you're just going to get 2 of the triangle pieces and your tapestry needle with the same colored yarn on your tapestry needle. And then you want to line up the 2 pieces so that the flat end is in the front, and you want the center of the 2 flat ends to line up with the center of the face. So then once you know where you want to position them, and then you want to see where the back one should fit back here. So you have 1 in the back, and then you have 2 on the side. So I'm going to leave about a stitch in between. And then once you know where you're going to position them, you can take your tapestry needle and then you just take and sew it in place. Then you can take and position the other peel and then sew it in place, and you're only going to sew it along the back edge, so you want the peel to be free. So just sew along the back edge. Then you have the 3 peels in place. Then you want to have a handle so that it can be held by the gorilla. So I made my handle right between. So here's the front, so here's the first leaf on the side, and then here is the space between this first leaf on the side and the back leaf. So I'm going right into that space, and I'm going to take my crochet hook, go into that space. So I'm going behind one of the stitches in the space, and then you're just going to bring up a loop with the yellow colored yarn. Then you can take and tie a knot. Then you're going to make a chain of 28. I'm just going to show 4 on video tutorial. So there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. So go ahead and finish a chain of 28 and then come back. So then after you finish your chain of 28, then you're just going to make a slip stitch into the same stitch where you had joined your yarn. So just bring the yarn through both loops on the hook for a slip stitch. Then you can go ahead and finish off. Just yarn over and just bring enough yarn through to tie a knot and to bury into your work. Then you have a little handle that can be used to put on the gorilla's arm or hand. And then I'm just going to tie a knot with my other loose yarn end. And then just bury my loose yarn end into the work. So right where I tied my knot. And then I'm going to come out anywhere on the body just to kind of bury the loose yarn end. So for mine, I just hooked it on the thumb. If you want to hook it all the way around the hand, then you'll need to make a larger chain, and then you could fit it around the hand, but mine is just around the thumb.